What about? I want to ask you next about the metal queen Lee Aaron. How did you get that gig?
Yeah, well,
she's also legendary artist.
Oh, amazing. Well, I'm a lifelong fan of her too. I met Lee because I had written a book about Canadian heavy metal and hard rock in the 80s called Metal on Ice. And in the midst of writing that, I wanted obviously to reach out to her and get her perspective.
Yeah.
As a female artist and a legendary artist coming up in that era. So I interviewed her. She was gracious enough to give me an interview. Got on great. But at the same time, I was working actually for this company here, Coalition Music, a music management company out of Toronto that manages Our Lady Peace, Simple Plan, Finger 11, a lot of big Canadian bands. And they said, they knew I was writing a book, so they said, hey, we've got a record label through Warner Music. Why don't we do a record? You can produce a record. We'll get some of these legendary artists, we'll re-record their songs, and we'll put on a concert. And I said, oh, that sounds amazing. So
yeah, like a promotion of the book or something.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. It was like a soundtrack, a companion for the book.
So you wrote 2 books. Yeah.
2 books, and I'm working on my 3rd right now.
I will talk to you about the second one. I will ask you. I know about that one.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were looking for artists, and we were like, do you think Lee Aaron would be interested? Well, I reached out to her, and she fortunately, because I had known she was also working on jazz recordings. I wasn't sure if she was still doing rock and roll or
heavy metal.
Interested in it, but she was open to being a part of it, and she liked the recording we did, and I ended up flying to Vancouver to work with her on her vocals. So we went in the studio, and in the studio, we realized that we had a lot in common. We got on very well. And it just kind of casually came up. I said, hey, if you ever need someone to sub in for you, let me know. And it turned out she needed somebody to sub on guitar for 3 dates in Ontario. And she asked me, and I jumped at it. And I think she'd say this too. We had our first rehearsal together, and it clicked. It was one of those magical things where it's like, just with the whole band, with her husband, John Cody on drums, with Dave Reimer, and we had an amazing keyboard player at the time, Kevin Saunier as well, Toad.
Instant chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. It was instant chemistry. And 10 years later, and we're just about to release our 7th album together.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. I love her.